trained by Booker T. You wrestled a lot of former WWE stars. You're a second generation guy. My question is, and did they ever compare you to your dad? Because a lot of guys do, unfortunately, and there's a few that rise up,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if sometimes, like you said, you did the 4-day WWE loop thing. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure on you to do that. You're not John Studd, you're Sean.
Yeah.
Probably Stud then.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think, I had a few years there where I was probably my own worst enemy comparing myself to my dad. And I think when I was going through that, it was about 2 or 3 years after I got into wrestling. Sometimes you can become your own, the toughest critic on yourself. And I was really starting to get in my own head, and it was affecting my matches and stuff. And I think, that went right into COVID and all that and then I had health issues. So I do, obviously the goal was always to get into WWE, and
Right.
the I think, like I said, being my dad's, my dad was a huge guy, 6'10", he was larger than life. He definitely cast a huge shadow, and that was a little tough. Some of the guys, when you look at second generation guys who've really gone far, not all of them, Cody Rhodes, his dad, Dusty, obviously he was, Dusty Rhodes was huge, but the thing is, he was huge down south and in like WCW, he wasn't that big in WWF. Then you look at like Randy Orton and his, Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yeah.
He was, my dad was a little bit, I'm not trying to take anything.
No, go ahead.
Not want to take anything away from Cowboy Bob Orton, but I think my dad was a little bit of a larger star, had the WrestleMania matches, more,
Yeah.
So the shadow wasn't necessarily as big, but again, that doesn't have anything to you're gonna sink or swim regardless,
Right.
So
some guys can overcome it and say, "Hey, I am Sean Studd.
Exactly.
I'm not my dad, Big John Studd, but I'll take his attributes, whatever I need, and I'll add to that."
Yeah, and I'll be honest. Now, the mindset I had, you get in your own head after having those seizures and almost dying, pretty much.
Oh gosh, sorry to hear that.
I mean, it wasn't, it was the worst for my wife. I don't know.
Well,
it happened in my sleep, but my wife, or that. I tell people, after going through that, it really gives you a different mindset. And if I do get back into wrestling, I don't think I'll suffer with that issue trying to get out of my dad's shadow. I kind of understand now what my dad was a legend in the industry. He was one of the guys that got WWF to that global position with Hulk, Andre, Roddy Piper, all those guys. And he'll always, I guess I've come to terms that I may not ever be able to surpass what he's done, but you can always leave your own mark in your own way.